What's good, everyone? Enrique here with another video, and this time we're going to be talking about the PO-33, aka the Knockout, aka the KO, aka the best pocket operator you can currently buy, or whatever you want to call it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, for those of you subscribed to my channel, you're probably wondering why the heck am I making another video on the Pocket Operator 33. One, because it's probably one of my favorite instruments right now, especially when it comes to samplers, and especially because I have 8 samplers and this one fits in my pocket the easiest. And two, because I've never fully made a song just on this the way that I would on majority of my other samplers. So with that being said, I figured I'd go through some of the motions that I would normally do with some of my other samplers, except this time utilizing the PO-33, and I would record the process so that we can go through this together and kind of see where its pitfalls are and where it excels and whatnot. So yeah, let's go and make a track. Okay, so you've seen MPC, sure, you know me too well, but I figured I wouldn't leave this part out because all I'm doing from the MPC is just sampling sounds that I have slowly collected on here. And the reason I'm doing it from the MPC, not a computer or anything, is because for one sample, this one here, I actually want to just pitch it up, and I think the pitching on here sounds better than Ableton. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick. Let's see, 10's usually about the magic number. Cool, so as you can hear, it's playing back really fast. The reason I want it to do that is because I want to save space on the KO. Not that I need to, but I also kind of like the texture it brings out of a sample when you pitch it back down. So first, I'm going to go to bank A, which I have these drum sounds in. And I'm going to use these to basically build up my library inside the KO. So without further ado, I'm going to hold down record and then hold down one of the drum slots. Let's say, I'll hold down 13. So record 13, and I'm going to play all 16 sounds. Done. So now that I'm on sound 13, I kind of built it the same way so that my kicks are on one side, and then snares and claps, so on, hats, and then open hats. Now let's get that last sample, which is that little jazz sound. So bank beat, it's pitched up, let's hit record, and number 2. Done. Sounded crazy, right? But so this is the original. And now this is it slowed down. But then it's cool because I can go to effects and say tone and tune that down even more. So let's say, ooh, listen to that crunchiness. I'll probably have it around there. Awesome. So let's go to a nice fresh clean desk where I can actually use my hands and I don't have a million things in front of me. So now that I have all my samples that I want to use inside the KO, the first thing I want to do is take my melodic sample, which is this jazz loop right here. And I want to set the start and the end point perfectly to 2 bars. That way I can copy and paste it from the melodic section down into the drum section to get perfectly made slices for me. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and you haven't seen that video yet, check it out. I'll leave the link to it right here. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So with that sound selected, I'm going to play the higher speed one so we can get this over with quickly. FX, let's go over to trim. Cool, so let's see. Almost. That's almost right. Maybe going a little too fast. Let me play it in a slower tone. Almost is a little too long. So I want to go. So that's going to be the perfect loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost. It's a little short. Yeah, that's good right there. Cool, so now that we have our start and end point set up, I'm going to go ahead and hold down right and then sound and copy sound 2 down onto pad 13, and we should have this. Right, but it sounds a little too staccato or choppy, if you will, and how we're going to fix this is we're going to hit effects until we get to trim, this one here, and we're going to change the end point of each pad. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, sorry that sounded crazy. For you headphone wearers out there, I apologize, because I have headphones on right now and it sounded insane. But the reason I did it the way that I just did, which was slowly turning the knob and pressing each pattern, is because these aren't endless encoders. These knobs right here actually have a start and an end point. So they kind of have this latching method. When I hit a pad and I turn it a little bit, if this knob is set to 50, the value of that pad that I'm on will then just jump to that value. So I kind of wanted them to all be around the same decay length. So I just went ahead and just kept turning it and selecting a new pad, which will then latch to that new value. All right, so now that we got that all chopped and sliced up, I'm gonna go ahead and go to sound and number 11, which is our MPC drums that we recorded. Right, and I'm gonna lay down a kick drum. Let's take that one, press play. Let's find a hi-hat. I like that one, so let's say, that's cool. Let's find an open hat. Let's try that one. Cool. That's a good starting point. We can add more to this later. Now, we're just on pattern 15, right? I'm gonna go to sound, go to 13, which is our chopped up sample. And I'm gonna go ahead and play this in. So let's see, press play. I'm going to hold down right, and I'm only going to play the first 8. Right, let's go to effects, tone, bring the volume down a little bit. Then we go to filter, turn the resonance up a little. I'm down with that. So now I'm going to go to pattern, or actually, what I'm going to do next is hit right and pattern and copy 15 onto 16. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing what I just did, which is record that same pattern in, except playing the bottom half of the pads this time. So I'm going to hit record first, see that we have a bunch of sounds here. Go ahead and take those out, which is still, of course, working on sound 13. And now we should have nothing. Cool. So I'm going to hold down right and play. Whoops. Make sure that record enable is off, because if it's on, you're just entering step entry mode of the last slice you hit. So in this case, I'm going to turn it off, then press play, then hold down right. So check this. Right, so now pattern 15 to 16. So let's speed this up a little bit. BPM, what are we at? Oh my God, 200. Let's do 126. Press play. You know what? I want to open that filter up. Play, hold down right, and open the filter. Whoa, did you guys hear that? What the heck is that? That was weird. So now we're good to go on our loop. Now let's say, let's go to pattern, go to 13, record pattern to clear it, 14, record pattern to clear it, back to 13. Actually, let's go to 15, right pattern from 15 onto 13, right from pattern 16, so right pattern from 16 onto 14. So now we have pattern 15, 16 copied onto 13, 14 in that order. If I go to pattern 15, I'm going to improve the drums, I guess, a little bit on this. So let's go back to our MPC. But now that I'm in here, if I hit record, you can see that our grid's getting pretty full. I'm only left to these if I don't want to choke the other sounds. So what I'm going to do now, hit right, hold down right in sound. Since we have that one selected on number 11, I'm going to copy and paste that onto 12. So now we have the exact same drum kit, except this time onto 12, where I can put claps and stuff and other hats and whatnot on top of the sounds that we already have going without interrupting the sounds coming out of pad 11. So let's find a clap. That's cool. Record, bam, bam, simple, simple. Dope. And let's see, let's find a snare maybe. Cool. Now let's go do the same thing on pattern 16. Maybe here, here. Find the clap. Cool. So now if I hit pattern, I can say 15, 15, 15, then into 16 to get a 4-bar loop. Man, I love this sloppiness. Cool, so the way I have the pattern set up right now is 15 plays 3 times, then into 16 creating a 4-bar pattern. But let's say I wanted to create a variation over an 8-bar pattern, recording the automation of the effects. The way I do this is I go to pattern 15 and I hit right, and then pattern, and I'm going to copy and paste basically pattern 15 onto 1, 2, 3, then 5, 6, 7. And you guessed it, I'm going to take pattern 16 and write pattern 16 onto 4 and 8. The reason I'm doing this for the main part of the song is because now I have an 8-bar loop which I can record effects on over the entire thing without it sounding too repetitive. Sure, it's still repetitive, but it's my style of music, so yeah. And I actually really like that, so let's go ahead and try this out. So now I'm going to go patterns, tie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hit record to make sure record enable is on. Then I'm going to press play and then just record some effects. So let's do it. Bar 2, bar 3, bar 4. We'll let it go again. Actually, let's just rehearse. I'm going to turn some of these off. Alright, record. Cool. The first one's a little sloppy. Let's see if I can do that real quick. Nope. Let's see. I'm going to hit record or play, then effects in 16 to clear out the automation. So watch this. There we go. Cleared it. Cool. So next let's make a variation to this, and I'm going to take pattern 13 and 14, which I believe don't have the up hat and the clap, but I could be wrong. Let's find out. So that's pattern 13. So they just don't have the clap. And I feel like there's another drum missing in there, but I can't catch it and I don't want to find out right now. So let's go pattern 13, record. Make sure we are selecting our sample, and I'm going to take the sample out of all those spots. Pressing record again to turn it off, to exit the step edit mode, pressing play. We can then kind of mess around and see what we want to play. That's kind of cool. So let's see, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So then I'll go pattern, or right pattern, copy that onto 14. Again, hit right and make sure we are on that sound. And take those notes out. Hit record again to rehearse something new. So we end here. That's kind of cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. I know this sounds crazy, but just stick with me. Right, pattern, copy that onto 15. Same thing. Dun, 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 dun. And before we write another one, just so we don't have to do this again, right, pattern, I'm gonna, now that I have those erased, copy that onto 16. So now that's there, it's blank. Let's go back to 15, come up with a new pattern. Turn right off to audition or rehearse. That's kind of cool, man. Let's see. Why am I missing that first one? So let's see. So that one I want right on step 1. Oh, noob. That was on 16. My bad. So let's go back to 15. I tied those together somehow. Didn't realize it. Alright, now let's go to pattern 16. Take that one out. And let's see what else we got. Alright, let's see what happens if we just play that backwards. Okay, so this last one, it's a little off. I'll put that there. Okay, at this point you might be thinking, Enrique, your music sounds awful. But this is my style. This is the way I like to make music. I like it to be sloppy. I like the chops to be a little off. I would do the same thing if I had Ableton. The cool thing about the KO is it almost lends itself to do that stuff naturally. And sure, you can make it be super pin hair precise if you wanted to, but I don't like that. I like the imperfections. So let's create a longer pattern. Basically, go to pattern. Let's play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 13, 14, 15, 15. Let's see what that does. Da, 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 da. Do, 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 do. Dope. Okay. So I may agree with some of you guys that that does sound awful, but I really like pattern 15 a lot. So we wasted all that time making those other patterns. I'm going to go to pattern 15 and write pattern and copy that onto 13, 14, and I'll let 16 survive. So now let's go to pattern 13, which is the same as 15, which is right. So now I'm going to go to pattern 14. Take this one. Cool. And then leave pattern 15 the same, and then 16. So I'm going to tie these 4 together. 13, 14, 15, 16. See what they sound like together. All right, that's kind of cool. So now let's do pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, 14, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 only plays once to then go back into everything else. So now let's try that. Play. Bam. Do, 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 do. And then play the last one. Woo! Dope. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go to pattern 16, find the drums, which is this one here, right, and take out the kick drums. And why I'm doing that is just to kind of create a little bit more, I guess, suspense or anxiousness before it goes back into the following pattern. So again, 13, 14, 15, 14, 13, 14, 15, 16. Sound like crazy launch codes. Basically, then from there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then no kick. There it is. Alright, now we just freak it out. Ooh, that's dope. Cool. Again, hope you guys liked this video. If you did, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down, and I really appreciate you guys hanging in there with me and going through this video with me and making this track. It was a ton of fun. And yeah, you guys can always follow me on my Instagram, where I post a lot of other videos like this on a bunch of other gear. There might be something in there that you want to see, so hit me up on my Instagram and let me know about it. But without further ado, you guys know the drill, and that is to share the love, share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace.